If you have trouble sitting up straighter, whether that's in a chair or crisscross applesauce, I will say that in no other way, a simple way to help sit up straighter is to use some of the pull of the higher structures of the body. In this case, the arms, as well as the position of the head and the eyeline. As always, make sure that it's safe for you to do before engaging in any kind of exercise or exercise based therapy. Consult a physician or someone specifically trained in movement based therapies, such as a physiotherapist, and not just some guy on the internet. The capacity to sit up straight is based on how the joints are positioned in the body, as well as how the muscles of the back are activated or firing. When the arms are raised up, when we bring our arms as if we're trying to take them up and in a backward motion, and you don't necessarily have to bring them fully back. It doesn't actually have to be achieved, but the intent, the purpose is there. When you bring them up and back, the muscles of the scapula, this little gray triangular bone here, start to contract in an attempt to help the arm come backwards. It's a stabilizing factor. Now, in addition, there'll be many arm muscles contracting, of course. And those are interesting, but not really the important ones for this particular conversation. So many muscles are contracting. But as we reach back, the muscles of the scapula contract, as well as many of the muscles of the back itself. They start to activate as well, because we need to bring our arms up. But if we intend to be reaching for something, either grasping or pulling something down, we want to bring our whole body into the action. Even though we're not actually picking anything up, there's no magical box above us that just happens to be invisible. Our intent to do so starts to activate those back muscles, perhaps in the thoracic area, perhaps in the lumbar area. And this tends to bring our back into an extended position, what we might call a bit straighter up and down. And this means we'll be capable of sitting up just a little bit straighter. Now, with that, the distance between the arm and the thorax are increasing. That space between those 2 points is increasing. So any muscles that happen to be in that area, let's pick the pecs for instance, because those are a few banded stripes going from the rib cage to the arm, they lengthen. It's only a small amount, but they do indeed lengthen. And so they generate a little bit of upward pull as that arm goes up. Again, it's only a little bit, but it is still definitely there. So as we bring the arm up, not only do we activate the muscles in the back, but we generate a little bit of pull in the front. Ultimately, both lead to a relatively straighter up and down position, what we might call an extension. Activation in the back, which stabilizes a pull in the front, which generates a bit of an upward pull through the rib cage, and then even down through the abdomen as well, both front and back working together. When it comes to the position of the eyes and the head, they seem unimportant at first glance, pun intended. But the eyes tend to guide the motion of the body, to some extent at least. For instance, if we were to look to the side, we were intentionally looking to the side, or even turn our eyes in a certain way, the body expects that it might move that way and prepares to turn to that side and may start activating muscles of the neck that bring you around, that start bringing muscles of the trunk that turn you around. And if you're standing up, more likely, and probably if you're sitting down, even activating maybe some of the muscles of the legs to do so. The other directions work very much the same. If we look up, if we bring our head up and we bring our eye line up, therefore, we can start to activate some of the same muscles in the rest of the body that help with this process. Again, many of the muscles of the back that bring our body up into an extended position are activated along with this eye line change. perhaps the thorax, maybe it's the lumbar spine. And this just makes it overall easier to activate some of the erector muscles that allow us to be just a little bit straighter. Not ramrod straight, we don't want to do that, but a little bit straighter. This head position idea, this concept, is actually useful in coordinating how the body will move in other actions in position as well. The eyes generally guide the body, and so we actually see this in practices such as yoga or traditional martial arts. At this point, if you were so inclined, you may even want to take a deep breath, dropping the diaphragm down, which should generate a little bit of internal pressure, ultimately boosting our upward position in the body and inflating you from the inside, if you were so inclined. These, in combination, result in more engagement or activation of the spinal erector muscles, and a straighter back position overall. But it is something that must be practiced and strengthened over time until it becomes much, much easier.